let's talk about sponsorships, collaborations, and money. Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen and I upload weekly videos about sewing, crafts, and DIY projects, and this is going to be a different sort of video. So buckle up. I've considered whether I wanted to put this out, but I think I do because I want you guys to know what goes on behind the scenes here on YouTube in regards to money and finances. And I also really want to get your input on the direction this channel goes and the way I do business here on YouTube because yes, this is a business. I do this for fun and because I love it, but the reason I'm able to do this is because I generate income from YouTube and from freelance producing. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, I'm going to link a few videos up here and below in the description box, just with more about my history here on YouTube, my background, and even my income, how much money I make from YouTube. Now, I will be real with you. I am not getting rich off of YouTube. I make what I consider to be a decent amount of money and I'm super grateful for it. That being said, I would not be able to do what I'm doing here at the Sewing Report without also freelancing for a friend of mine who is a real estate agent. So what I do is, this is my main channel. I work on this. Out of all of my working hours, I work 6 to 7 days a week, at least 10 hours a day most of the time. I don't normally take a day off because I really enjoy doing this. This does not feel like a grind to me. This is something that I'm genuinely excited every day to get up and keep on doing. So I would say I probably spend about 50 to 60% of my time at least on Sewing Report related things. I also have a channel. I manage my husband's channel. I also have a personal channel called Hi, It's Jen, formerly Jen Talks Forever. And then I also produce and manage a channel called Melanie Loves Tampa Bay, which is my friend's channel. So that's kind of some of the things going on for me personally from a work standpoint. So I just kind of want to share this with you. And I also really want to talk about sponsorships and collaborations. And I want to share my own experiences after being on YouTube for about 4 years and also from getting a lot of emails and a lot of people proposing I work with them. And I also want this to be for brands, businesses, individuals. If you are looking to work with me on a business standpoint, I kind of want to let you guys know some things up front too and best ways to go about things. So this is going to be kind of a rambly video and I will put timestamps below just touching on different topics. So here goes. I have a policy that's been in place for about 2 years where I do not accept free products in exchange for videos or social media posts. I don't do that. That is pretty common in the influencer creator world, is a company will reach out to you and say, hey, we will send you these items if you post on Instagram, Facebook, do a video about it. I think when you're a smaller channel or a small blogger, these things can be appealing. You're like, hey, I can get some free stuff if I just post about them. So one thing about this is that when companies and brands do this, I've found in my own experience that it comes with strings attached. They want you to present things in a certain way, or they'll say, hey, make sure to say this, or add these hashtags, or include these talking points. And I don't like this. I've dealt with this before. I don't like ceding editorial and creative control over projects I'm working on. For that reason, among others, I decided to put a policy in place, and I will also link to my Work With Me page that's on sewingreport.com, which explains this in greater detail. If you're not aware, I used to be a journalist, TV producer, and newsrooms have pretty strict ethical standards in regards to getting free stuff. It's called payola and plugola. And if you're working as a journalist, you're not allowed to accept gifts. You're also not allowed to accept situations like if some company came to you and said, hey, if you do a story in my product, we'll give you, free tanning sessions for life or something, or a free car. From my time in news, we would get a lot of businesses trying to do that to reporters, to assignment editors, to me, producers. And that's not okay because doing news is like a public service. Your audience will not trust you if they think you have business ties or unethical practices. So that's one thing that journalists do to kind of separate themselves from any sort of business interests. And so you don't look shady, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that I was used to for a very long time. Now coming into more of a blogger, vlogger, influencer world, that's certainly different. There's a lot of people out there that are pushing stuff that they got for free or that is sponsored. And FYI, the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, has released pretty extensive guidelines and rules that influencers have to follow in regard to business relationships. As a content creator, it is your responsibility to not only be familiar with these aspects, but to comply with laws against deceptive ads. You'll find this information in the description box below. I'll say from a viewer standpoint and a consumer of content, I'm not that crazy about sponsored posts, sponsored videos, or where you can tell that they're doing a video because somebody sent something to them. I guess my own philosophy is here that I don't want to do anything here at the Sewing Report that I don't like to see myself on other channels or on other blogs. And now again, if you really like if you're a blogger or vlogger and you really like doing sponsored posts and doing collabs like that, that's totally up to you. That is your decision, and you can run your own business as you see fit. But that being said, as someone that looks a lot of content, I watch a lot of videos, I'm personally as a viewer a little bit turned off, especially if the channel has like all sponsored videos, or you go to a blog and every post is a sponsored post. Because whether you like it or not, that person's opinion is being influenced, even if they say this is totally my own opinion, blah, 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 blah. The way they think about something is gonna change if they got it for free or if they're getting paid by a company. You're gonna be a little more careful. You don't wanna say anything negative about the product. I've had people send me free stuff and there was nothing in really, like, there would just be like, hey, can we send this to you? There was no like real formal agreement, but then after I put up the video about it, they said, hey, can you change the title, or, you know, make sure to link to this website versus this website so people can buy. And I will say that's not something I am personally down with. I don't like it, and I don't really want to partake in that sort of business relationship with a company or with another person. Now when I get people to reach out to me, and by the way, I get emails every week. A lot of them have like nothing to do with my space, which is sewing, quilting, and crafts. I'll get emails offering me like free soap or like free workout gear, or even asking me to do like videos about loofah sponges or something, or makeup. As a viewer of the Sewing Report, how turned off would you be if you came here and all of a sudden one day I was hawking like workout or yoga pants or something? You'd be like, that is not what I came here for. A lot of these emails or whatever that come to me, they're kind of shady. I usually ignore most of those. And the way I see it here is that this channel would not exist without you. And if I'm not serving you, the audience, you have no reason to come here. And I think maintaining the trust, credibility, and loyalty of all of the viewers here is more important to me than getting some free stuff. And I'll also say that I have seen very few sponsored videos to me that I thought were done very well and very organically. A lot of times the content to me, especially being a TV producer, screams sponsored post. The way I like to think about it too is it would fit more in line if it was a video that I would actually do versus something that I would never consider unless it was being posed to me by a company. That's usually the sign that I probably shouldn't do a video like that. Now, I will say one creator that I think has really nailed sponsored content, Casey Neistat. Some of his sponsored videos with like Nike or other companies, I'll link a few examples below. I thought they were just incredibly well done, and I thought that did more for the brand than if he had, like, he did one with Nike, I think called Make It Count, and he took all of the money and he just like traveled around the world. It really had nothing to do with Nike, but that video got so many views. It was totally viral, and it did more for the brand of Nike than if he had just sat in his studio and held up like Nike shoes all day. So I think there's something to say, if you're a company out there or a brand, I think taking cues from what Nike did with Casey Neistat, it was a little riskier, of course, but I thought that was providing much more value to the audience, and I think that's a better way to do business than you just reaching out to a creator and saying, hey, hold up my stuff in a video, or do this on camera, unbox this. I think there's a lot going on in this whole YouTube space. I think really these collaborations and sponsorships could be so much better done and so much more well thought out, and a lot of them just aren't. I don't see the Sewing Report really being heavily into sponsored content or anything like branded or ads. Obviously there's YouTube ads, but not like, you know, in video stuff. I do not do free products in exchange for posts. So when someone reaches out to me, even if it is a good fit, I say, hey, you're welcome to mail me whatever you're talking about, but just so you know, here's my policy. If you send it to me, there is no obligation on my part to do anything or talk about it. And in my opinion, I think that means more for the content I'm creating, because I'm not being forced to do something or being forced to say something. If I bring it to you, it's because I actually do like it and see value in you knowing about it. And if not, then I'm not featuring it here. I also sometimes get companies reaching out. Now, this isn't like a huge YouTube channel. I know that there are channels with millions of subscribers. So as a creator, I'm still a relatively small channel, but pretty frequently I will get businesses, even pretty large companies that you would think would have a bigger budget for marketing, and they will offer me free product in like $100 or something. And I'm like, but here's the thing, they want control. They will not let you do or say whatever you want. So to me, that's not worth it, because I could just buy the item myself, say whatever I want. And to me, getting $100 or even $200, $300, $400, $500 is not worth it to me, because then I have to give up the editorial control. And that to me is the most important thing to retain, is the creative licensing. So if I ever did do a sponsored video or whatever in the moving forward, I'm really not sure if I am, to be honest with you, is they would have to agree to basically let me do whatever I want. And if it was not under those conditions, I would not do a deal like that. Let me know below in the comments, what do you like? Are you okay with sponsored posts and videos? What's your biggest turnoffs with them? And what do you think creators like me could do better if we are trying to work with companies or brands? Because again, this has been something that I think about a lot. I haven't really talked about it real public here, but here I am. And I just wanted to also encourage other creators, other sewing bloggers and vloggers out there to stick to your principles. Make sure you're doing you, and don't feel like you need to bow to pressure just because it may seem like a really good opportunity if such and such company is reaching out to you. But if the terms of what they're proposing don't work with what you do, or you don't feel like it's something true to your brand and to your content, then I would say reconsider it. And also don't be afraid to push back and say, hey, what about this, this, and this? So just some random thoughts here. Okay, I know at this point you're probably thinking, well, Jen, how are you ever gonna make money on YouTube if you don't do sponsor deals, collabs, that sort of thing? And I will say it's difficult. This is something that I do not take lightly. I spend a lot of time trying to plan out and trying to figure out what my next move is. And I'm so grateful that this channel has continued to grow. But I also think that one of the reasons why you guys come back and why it has grown is because I really try to stay true to myself. And I also don't really promote anything that I personally don't believe in. For instance, here I will never promote financing a sewing machine. If you finance a sewing machine and that is your decision, that's cool. You're allowed to do what you want to do. But I will share with you that my husband and I worked really hard to get out of debt. At one point, we both had combined $180,000 in student loan. So being in debt is not something that is fun. I will never again finance purchases, probably other than a house. Financing sewing machines, I know that's super common. That is not something you will see here, because it's not something I would personally do. So if I wouldn't do it in my own life, I'm not going to tell you guys to do it, because I feel like that would be hypocritical. If you're not very familiar with the financial side of YouTube, there are ways to monetize your content. So I will get YouTube AdSense. So that is the ads that are put on videos. It varies and it really depends on your niche. You know, it's not crazy money, but of course it's decent money, I think, especially for a channel my size. I also am in some affiliate programs, and that is something I like because they don't tell you what to do or say. I mean, there are some guidelines to each program. The biggest one I'm in is Amazon, because I shop Amazon a lot. So it's a natural fit. I can talk about whatever I want. I can link whatever products I'm using, but I feel like there's not a ton of strings attached as far as that company telling me what to do. Amazon really You know, as long as you're sticking to the guidelines, like there's certain things you're not allowed to do, like mention prices or show screenshots of prices or say certain things. But I really like those programs because it allows me more freedom. Now, I am looking at some other ways to build the Sewing Report up as like a legit business. I know whoever thought I would be doing a sewing business when I entered TV news, but here I am, and I am trying to come up with some of my own products. I also, again, continue to freelance with my friends, so that makes it possible. And hopefully as the channel grows, there may be some more opportunities along the way. You never know. But I think it's really important to, you know, be very transparent with your audience. So that's really why I wanted to talk about this today and just share some things I'm going through. Just, you know, I'm not like the most business savvy person. I do read a lot of finance books. I really enjoy financial stuff. I'm a huge personal finance geek. I listen to Dave Ramsey. I was a huge Susie Orman fan. One of my favorite books series is the Millionaire Next Door series. The original is a great book, and also Stop Acting Rich was another good one. I'm pretty cheap. I drive a car that's worth I'm not kidding, like $1,000. I'm a pretty frugal person, and that is another thing that allows me to do what I'm doing here. And I will also share with you, if you do love what I'm doing here, you want to support it, I am considering doing something like a Patreon. I don't know exactly the breakdown yet, but if that's something you wouldn't mind, let me know. It does get a little hard at this level to respond to all like the DMs, emails, and all the comments. So I was thinking this might be a good way to interact with more of a closer circle of people. And also, I think this might be a solution. I really want to try to give away some of the stuff that I've been sent over the years. And the giveaway thing, like there's so many legalities with it, it makes it very cumbersome for a creator to host a giveaway on social media. And a lot of the people that are doing it, I can tell you, they're probably breaking the law. There are, like, you have to adhere to so many rules and make so many disclosures. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm thinking about doing some sort of, you know, kind of inner circle thing where I would do giveaways to that group of people. This would be for, you know, if you're a super fan, you know, maybe something like that. And I also do want to put some emphasis on creating my own things, you know, maybe some sewing tools, something like that, where I can have control over this whole business venture. It's true to me, and it's something that I really feel would be beneficial for you guys. So let me know your thoughts, and if you have any ideas or suggestions for me as a businesswoman, please share them. I'm open to everything. And again, just let me know your thoughts and everything I've talked about here, because there's a lot going on, and if you're in this world, you know it can get kind of complicated. All this stuff can be very tricky to navigate, but just know that I'm doing the best I can, and I'm really trying to constantly learn and improve here at the Sewing Report. Anyways, if you guys are here for sewing videos, I've got plenty of beginner sewing videos here on the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. I'll see you guys again in the next video.